What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Kevin Svensson here. Today we're going to be talking about the price of Bitcoin, and we're also going to be going over some reasons why the price of Bitcoin could actually be going much lower than we expected to here. The reasons for this have to do with the new lawsuit against Tether and Bitfinex and the ability for Tether to actually control the Bitcoin market. And if anything were to happen to Tether, it very likely would mean that the price of Bitcoin would actually drop significantly. I also want to discuss the overall performance of the market recently and the psychology behind everything that's going on with the price of Bitcoin and how most market participants are actually not doing well at all right now. And before we get started here, guys, definitely click that link below and sign up with the CryptoWatch platform. It is the best platform for charting and trading, and I've been using it for the past 2 years. It's not just a random sponsor. I'm actually sponsored by the platform that I've been using for many years now. So the chart that I have on the screen right now is the weekly chart. This is BTC to USD on Bitstamp. What I have mapped out right now are the profitable areas to buy Bitcoin and the not so profitable areas to buy Bitcoin since the peak of the bull market. Now, of course, buying Bitcoin during this run up right here in 2017, you're still in the profit zone. A lot of the people who have been getting involved in Bitcoin since the blow off top here in 2017 have actually been, taking a lot of losses. Most of the price action since the blow off top here in 2017 has actually been downside price action, right? We were trending down for almost all of 2018, and then we had a major breakdown going into the end of 2018. Now, of course, if you were accumulating during the bear market, you're currently still in profits, and if you were accumulating up to, about $7,000, you're currently still in profits. Now, pretty much everybody who is accumulating Bitcoin in this area here and in this area here is currently in the red. They're currently taking losses right now. So there were very few times that you could have actually made money buying Bitcoin since the blow off top of the bull market. Now, of course, we have this region right here, the consolidation range of 2018. Of course, if you bought Bitcoin here, you're still in, a very small amount of profits. Now, a lot of the people who are buying here, who are very confident in this being the bottom. Now, if you guys were watching my channel for all of 2018, we were looking for prices like 2,500 for almost, pretty much since January, the end of January, we were talking about prices like 2,500. We got pretty damn close to that number, about $3,100. But, if you were accumulating Bitcoin at, at this consolidation area, it's very likely that you probably sold. A lot of people were panic selling in this area. And, so in my opinion, this region, accumulating Bitcoin in this region right here, it's very unlikely that majority of the people who bought Bitcoin in this area held on during the bear market. So in reality, guys, most retailers, most market participants, most retailers, that is, only if you accumulated during the bear market or during this run up right here up until about, let's say, May, mid-May, are you now actually in profits? So the sentiment of the market is definitely negative right now. If we go to the Google Trends data for buy Bitcoin, Coinbase, Bitcoin Exchange, search terms that actually tell you if people are getting involved in Bitcoin or not, everything's trending down, guys. All these search terms are trending down. There is no rise in interest for actually buying Bitcoin. So the interesting thing about what's happening to the Bitcoin price right now is that, it's not all too much different from previous cycles. We usually see corrections like this off of that first bounce. I mean, even if you go back to 2012, after that first initial bounce out of the bear market, you see these kinds of pullbacks, of course. But what's interesting about what's taking place right now is, during this parabolic advance, the first parabolic advance out of the bear market, we had actually a higher low structure here. And in 2015, we also saw a higher low structure here. And right now, we are only getting lower lows. The fact that we're only getting lower lows shows that the way that Bitcoin's behaving right now is actually quite different from everything we've seen so far. We're not getting a higher low structure with lower highs. We're getting a lower low structure with lower highs. And this overall is just beating down the market sentiment, and people getting involved in Bitcoin are not very happy right now. But of course, anything is possible. Bitcoin's price could get bought up here. And this brings me to my next point, which is Tether. Of course, Bitcoin's price can get bought up here, and we could see a bounce off this level. This could potentially be actually the low point for Bitcoin before we enter the next bull market. But the problem that I see in the Bitcoin market right now is that everybody is relying on Tether Tether seems to be everybody's, savior, right? Everybody always keeps track of, Tether. Did they print more Tether? Is Tether going to pump the market? Guys, this is an extremely bad sign for Bitcoin in crypto. The fact that we're relying, this is yesterday. Tether printed $200 million worth of USDT just out of thin air, right? They just printed money out of thin air, and then they're going to pump the Bitcoin market with fake US dollars. This is extremely bad for Bitcoin. This is extremely bad for crypto. This is not organic whatsoever. And this is, of course, why Tether is now entering another class action lawsuit filed by Eric Young and Adam Kurtz. Class action lawsuit claims Bitfinex and Tether manipulating the Bitcoin market. Now, this class action lawsuit was filed by Eric Young and Adam Kurtz at the District Court in Western District of Washington on November 22nd. This draws heavily from the details emerging in the case brought by the New York Attorney General in April. That is the first class action lawsuit that we saw. Now, this is the second one that we're seeing now. Now, there's an interesting quote here. Defendants' control of USDT issuances in Bitfinex permitted defendants and their co-conspirators to coordinate purchases and sales with rising and falling Bitcoin prices. When Bitcoin's prices were falling, defendants and their co-conspirators printed USDTs and artificially increased the price of Bitcoin. Once defendants and their co-conspirators artificially inflated the price of Bitcoin, defendants and their co-conspirators then converted the Bitcoin back into USDTs and replenished Tether's reserves. This brings me back to my last point. Tether has the ability to, bring the price of Bitcoin up and also bring the price of Bitcoin down. Every major move that we're seeing in the Bitcoin market is generally orchestrated by Tether, where they are printing USDT, pumping the market, and then turning that Bitcoin back into Tether, and then Bitcoin's price drops again. So this is all extremely bad for Bitcoin, and this is the second class action lawsuit that Tether is undergoing right now. And if they are found guilty, if something happens to Tether and they're shut down, Bitcoin's price could actually tank extremely hard, and we would see a dramatic drop in the price of Bitcoin, and we would end up seeing major moves to the downside, and we would see Bitcoin's price getting extremely damaged from that type of event. I mean, everything that's happening in the Bitcoin market is getting propped up by Tether, and if something happens to Tether, we're going to see the Bitcoin market get extremely damaged, and we're going to be falling back to extremely low prices here, most likely retesting some major supports closer to the $3,000-$4,000 levels. Again, that is if Tether gets slammed for something, and if they're found guilty and something happens to Tether and they're shut down. The Bitcoin market can no longer be propped up at that point. And another thing you guys need to keep in mind is that retailers, people like you and me, even people that are trading with millions of dollars, like individuals who have like million dollar accounts, what we're doing to the market actually doesn't do anything. Retailers like you and me have very little to do with the price of Bitcoin. Overall, we help drive the price of Bitcoin in certain directions, but the major moves are not taking place by small retail traders and investors. I mean, let's just hop down to the 4-hour chart. When Bitcoin does these types of moves, guys, right, where like within minutes we pop to the upside. You'll hear a lot of analysts out there, a lot of people on Twitter, a lot of people on YouTube, say that like people are FOMOing into the market or people are capitulating out of the market. But guys, this is not, FOMO doesn't happen within minutes. Like, this type of action has nothing to do with retailers. It doesn't make sense to think that this, like, moves like this happened all of a sudden because all retailers all of a sudden got bearish on the market. This type of stuff, guys, is manipulation, or it's really just whale activity. Major pumps like this it's whale activity, guys. It's not retailers, right? So my point here is that if Tether is the one driving the market for the most part, if they are just printing money out of thin air that's not backed by US dollars, and they're pushing the price up and they're knocking the price down, and they're actually they're painting the price on the chart. If something happens to Tether, then very likely we're going to see a major drop in the Bitcoin market, and we will basically be exiting the normal market cycle that Bitcoin goes through, right? We would, at that point, we would be dropping to much lower prices, and we would probably be, exiting that normal cycle, and we would end up having to have a much longer term consolidation. If we have an event like this, guys, Bitcoin's going to end up having to actually, like recover for a long period of time. It's not going to be a quick recovery. It's going to take a while if Bitcoin does get that type of damage to the market. Now, guys, again, this is all just speculation. It is my opinion that Tether is very bad for the Bitcoin market. I mean, it's great for traders, because the price just gets knocked up and down constantly, and it's great for exchanges because it keeps everything moving. It keeps, the prices. It keeps traders trading, and the fees are rolling in. So Tether is great for exchanges, and it's great for overall volatility and all that stuff. And it's great for propping up the Bitcoin market. But overall, I think it's very bad for Bitcoin in general. It's not, it has nothing to do with organic growth. And if something bad happens to Tether, Bitcoin is going to have to spend a long time recovering from that. And it's just going to be overall quite bad for Bitcoin. But we'll see. Again, this is all just speculation. Who knows, Tether printing 200 million USDT out of thin air yesterday. Maybe they'll pump the market with that. Maybe we'll actually gain some support here and, see a nice bounce. And maybe Bitcoin continues on its long-term growth pattern. We break the all-time highs and nothing happens to Tether, and we continue to pump, and Tether continues to print, and we continue to pump Bitcoin and prop up the market with fake US dollars. Maybe all that happens. But all I'm trying to say here is if something happens to Tether, it's going to be very, very bad for Bitcoin. And you just be very careful out there, guys. Market sentiment is low right now. There's no rising interest. People are leaving the Bitcoin market right now. There's no new participants coming into the market. So if something happens to Tether, it's going to be very, very bad. So just be very careful, guys. But that's going to be it for me today, guys. If you enjoyed this video, definitely hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and be sure to sign up with the CryptoWatch platform. It is by far the best platform there is in the crypto space. I mean, you can you can trade, you can manage your portfolio all from one place. So definitely click that link below, sign up now, and I will see you all in the next video.